Hello, everyone. Simon Jacobson here for another episode of Meaningful Live. Let me get Happy Father's Day. That's the program. We'll talk about that. Dedicated by Tamara Kalir in memory of Yona and Abraham Andronovich. The truth is, from a perspective, a universal perspective, especially coming from Torah-based, every day should be Father's Day. Every day should be Mother's Day. Because you see, we are obligated, according to the 10 Commandments, honor your father and your mother all the time. So there's not one special day, it's all year round. However, since the custom of the land is to dedicate a day, I guess it shows the emphasis, the celebration. So we recognize that and we say, okay, let's extend the power of Father's Day through the whole year. But I was thinking about it. My father passed away 19 years ago. And you don't really appreciate something until you really are lacking it. I miss my father from that day on very much. And I realized that a parent is really part of your DNA, part of your foundation, to the point you don't even feel it when it's there. It's like the foundation of a building. You don't know there's a foundation until the foundation, unfortunately, is compromised or in some way wavering. It's just there. It powerfully holds up the entire structure. I remember when my father passed away, I felt it was like beyond my memories, even my conscious memories. My conscious memories were beautiful memories. But there were those that you don't even remember. The moment you're born, the first early formative years, having the security, having that father hold your hand, same thing with a mother. These things build your confidence, build your self-esteem, build your sense of self. It creates the security, the trust that's needed to be able to build relationships later in your life and throughout your life. And again, you don't appreciate it until it's not there. So my father is still with me in every possible way, but physically he's not there. So I appreciate a father and a mother. And my mother, thank God, is alive. May she be well for many healthy years. But I appreciate it in new ways as a result. I myself am a father today. I'm a father of 2 children who themselves are parents of their children. So I'm a grandfather as well. So I see it from a very different perspective when you personalize it. I know many of you, and many people I've met through my journey, have had terrible experiences with their parents. Some people don't want to hear about a father and a mother. They were hurt, abused, abandoned, criticized, and in so many ways been traumatized by parents. I remember doing a program more than once. I was asked, how do you honor parents who don't seem to deserve honor? So you're saying, honor your father, honor your mother. What happens if they don't deserve honor? And the point I always make in this context, though I can't fully identify, my parents were not perfect, but they were there. And I give them much credit for a lot of my own inner confidence that I built up through them nurturing me, loving me unconditionally. But I must say I was blessed. So in response to those that have had terrible experiences with parents, I say the word expression is honor your parents. It doesn't say love. If they earn their right, then they also should be loved. Like anyone that you love, that especially someone you appreciate, that has taken care of you, that has been there for you when you were vulnerable and completely dependent on others and so on. But regarding regarding honor, even if they don't deserve your love, but honor, remember the key thing here is you're not honoring your parents. You're honoring the life that came to you through your parents. You're actually honoring God. Why is this so important? Because, frankly, those of us that have difficulty with our parents, we don't want to invalidate ourselves. Very many of us, when our parents have been hurtful to us, we blame ourselves. You see children blame themselves for divorce. They blame themselves for their parents because they can't bring themselves often to criticize their parents. So they say something must have been wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. And that's what causes caused me to go through all my challenges in life. And the truth is that it's nothing to do with you. It's your parents, completely your parents. But that's why it's important to know that even if your parents, for whatever reason, were a rotten channel of blessings, they still brought you life. And your life always has value. It doesn't matter how it got to you. Obviously, it would be far, far, infinitely much greater if those channels were also healthy ones. But think of it like arteries that are blocked, but your heart is intact. Your life is always valuable, indispensable. And by invalidating your parents and dishonoring them, you're also dishonoring yourself. So honoring them doesn't mean doing what they want. Honoring them can be that you don't even speak to them, but you don't dishonor the life that came to you through them. Whatever reason it came through them, we may not know God's mysteries. So I'm saying this for those of us who think of Father's Day and have very mixed feelings, or actually have very negative feelings. I recently was talking to someone whose father died. He says, I don't want to go to my father's funeral. I don't want to sit Shiva. I don't want to mourn or grieve for him. I don't miss him. He was just a miserable person who only hurt me and my family. So I say to him, I respect your feelings, but remember, there's one thing. Your father did give you, through him came your life. You don't want your life to be also thrown out. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, as they say. So you want to make sure that your life remains something that's valuable. Now, how do you separate the two? Not that easy, but you need to separate the two. And I've seen those that have healed from abusive and dysfunctional parents are the ones that are able to figure out how to separate the two things, to say, this is what happened to me. This is what my parents did. But the life that I have is a valuable, divine, sacred life, an indispensable life. And you rebuild it through building your own family. How many people say, I don't want to build my own family. I don't want to have children because I don't want to do to them what was done to me. And my response is, with all the sensitivity, I fully understand and empathize. But I always say, no, why should you let your parents hijack your life and not allow you to have opportunity to start anew, to build your own family, to give children what you did not get? They say, well, I've been so damaged by them. So it means the damage continues. We need to know how to separate between the damage and the abuse and you. So those are words are especially focused and directed toward those that are dealing with the challenges of dysfunctional parents. But remember, what we're doing in honoring parents is honoring life. That's the key. And that's why in the 10 Commandments it says, honor your father and your mother, for therefore you will be rewarded with long life. What's the connection? Because honoring life brings life. And that's what this day is so significant about. Now let's talk a bit more about this tremendous relationship we have. What would we be like without parents? And I speak now again, not for those that have terrible or horrible traumatic experiences with parents. I'm speaking for those of us, many of us, who've had beautiful experiences, though not perfect. But there's something about what parents do. You know, I was spending recently time with my grandchildren, and I watch them. And I watch them in their formative years, vulnerable, like warm wax. Every experience they experience becomes etched inside of them, will one day harden. And I look at those acts of love that are shown to them, the acts of nurturing, the acts of that unconditional embrace is unbelievable for the human psyche. And then I look around the world today and we see people who are struggling. They may be successful materially, but emotionally, psychologically are struggling. And as they struggle, they are struggling with this bottom line: the need for healthy attachment. You know, 9 months we spend our lives in the earliest stage of our life in our mother's womb, completely engulfed, completely submerged in the embryonic waters. What does that do to the human psyche? Just being covered, just being protected, just being completely embraced, completely taken care of. Now, of course, if that continues as parents continue to nurture their children, that would be beautiful. So you see it with your own eyes when you look at children, and that you as a parent have the ability to shape a life, to shape a soul, and allow that soul to be empowered with the resources and the confidence and the self sense of self to be able to spread its wings and not be driven by fear and insecurity. Fear and insecurity. One of the most debilitating and paralyzing of all forces in life. So this is all about, really, when you think about Father's Day, and the same with Mother's Day, frankly. And I'm not trying to dismiss this day and make it into something that is everybody everywhere. But as I said at the outset, the truth is every day should be Father's Day, because what you're doing is respecting life. And even if you had a father or mother that did not know how to respect your life, you learn how to respect your life. So you can be your own father. You can be your own mother. Is often the approach I use often when I'm dealing with people who have difficulty with their parents. I say, you're going to have to become your own father. You're going to have to become your own mother. And how do you do that? You do for yourself. You nurture yourself. You take care of yourself as they should have. And then, obviously, you want to have others in your life that way. But it's very hard to have others love you if you don't love yourself. So when I look at Father's Day, and I think about it also as a context of how to become your own father, how to become the father of your children, how to become father of the people that you are around you. The Talmud says something really wonderful. It says that someone who teaches another, a teacher, a mentor, in a way is not a biological father, but is like a spiritual father of the student or of the person that you've inspired. Because it teaches you that fathering is more than just a biological thing. It's about impacting someone. It's about touching someone. Words from the heart enter the heart. They nurture, they empower, they validate. They give you all those things that are as important as oxygen itself. The power to really sense that you are needed. That to me is the ultimate, that you are absolutely needed. Birth is God saying you matter. Again, if we have healthy parents, they will continuously reinforce that message time and again. But regardless, you matter, absolutely matter. I would even submit that that is the single most important thing you'll ever hear in your life. Because if you don't matter, then your choices and your decisions and your life experiences don't really matter either. It all begins with, do you really matter? And in a world of 8 billion people, it's very easy to dismiss yourself and dismiss others. Who am I? One individual among 8 billion, one grain of sand on a beach. How significant can it be? So when you think of Father's Day, think of it also as a day of validation of you as a child. It's not just honoring your father, it's honoring your life, that your father was instrumental in being the conduit, the channel to bring that life into this world, as well as your mother. And if you think about generationally, it really is an awesome, formidable power that we're linked child to parent, parent to child to parent, all the way back to the beginning of time. Now, when did it get messed up that parents and parents started messing up their role in being parenting is another discussion. But there's no question that that chain is the chain that defines us as human beings more than anything else. And above all, psychologically, the idea that you matter, that you are valuable, that you have a mission to accomplish that only you can accomplish. You and only you. That's a tremendously empowering statement, because then you can ask yourself, and should ask yourself daily, what is that mission? What was I blessed with? The gifts I have, my personality, my skills, my talents, the opportunities that came my way. These are things that are unique to you, and only you can fulfill that. So think of it like a great grand symphony with indispensable musical notes, different musicians, each one playing their part. If you don't play your part, the whole music, the whole symphony is compromised. And the same thing, we're dependent on others and we complement each other. And all that's part of this grand symphony, cosmic symphony of life, that each of us is absolutely necessary. That's the message that your father shared with you. And if he didn't share with you, the message that he should have shared with you. So Father's Day is even for those of us that have lost fathers, or fathers that have abandoned us, or fathers that are unknown, people whose father just left them. They don't even know where they exist. It's still your day. It's your life. Your father and mother, wherever they are, have given you life. You have to value that life. You have to celebrate that life. I want to share one powerful, powerful experience that I remember seeing years ago. You may have heard of John Bradshaw. In the early 70s, he's one of the first pioneers of the inner child work. He himself was the son of a pastor who was or he was a pastor, I'm not, but he was the son of a raving alcoholic, which of course created for John tremendous shame, which he worked on all his life. But he became an unbelievable healer. So I remember, I'm not sure whether I saw it on PBS or I saw it in a VCR, in a videotape, but I remember a workshop that he was heading. Listen to this. So I was watching it just in passing, didn't realize the power until it grabbed my attention. So he's standing in a room, with around 50, 60 men and women. And the first thing you notice immediately is in the background, there's a very throbbing sound. It's very familiar, but you can't really place it. And I remember listening to it, I said, what is that? It was like, boom, 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 boom. And then I realized a heartbeat. It was an amplified heartbeat. That was the only sound in the room, and you heard it on the screen. And then John begins to speak. John Bradshaw begins to speak to the people. He asks them to close their eyes. He says, imagine this is the heartbeat of your mother. This is what you're listening to 24/7 in your mother's womb. This heartbeat. And it has that swooshing sound, like almost being like underwater. So you, the embryo, the fetus, is developing, and all it hears is the heartbeat. And the background sounds around it. All the time. And you start listening to it closer, it's very soothing, actually. That symmetry, that symmetrical sound, the contraction, the expansion, boom, 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 is very, very calming and very soothing. And it essentially is what a child experiences for 9 months in a row. 9 months. And John begins to speak. He says, this is your mother speaking to you. In a very calm, soothing voice, the mother starts saying, you are my child. I've been waiting for you all my life. I prepared a special room for you. I bought fresh linen, white blanket, special pajamas. And I cannot wait to see you. I cannot wait for you to enter into my life and create that comfortable hearth for you. And always remember that I love you unconditionally. No matter what happens in life, I will always be there for you. Because you're my child, my gift, my blessing. And he goes on elaborating on that theme. And all the while, you hear the heartbeat in the background. After a while, the people in the room begin to cry. I also began to cry. First I thought it was a gimmick, but then I realized this is a true resonating experience. Your mother speaking to you with that heartbeat, resonating, affirming all those words. I cannot wait to see you. And I look forward to all the adventures that we will have together, all those moments of life. Then finally, he stops speaking. The heartbeat continues. It takes a while for everybody to get out of their trance. But I found it to be one of the most powerful experiences. And afterwards, when he discusses it and reviews it, he says, what is it that we were all crying? We're crying either because we remember, not necessarily the exact experience, but we remember the feeling of being so welcomed unconditionally, or we cry because we should have heard it. And we feel what's missing in our lives, that no one ever told us that message. So though I'm speaking about a mother, but the same thing is with a father. A father in his own way is also present in our lives forever. It's who you are, even when your father is not home. I remember my father was a very busy man. He was a journalist. We didn't see him. He came home late. Fridays, we would see him because he would come for Shabbat. He would come home. He worked in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, which was the place where Yiddish journalism thrived. There was the Forward. There was the Day Jewish Journal. Near his workplace, there was a bakery. And he would bring home, every Friday, he would bring home what we called sprinkle cake. It's actually a cream roll cake. Sprinkle cake. Till this day. And I'm talking now 60 years later. More than 60 years later. I still have that experience every time I see that cake. It's much more than a cake. It represents my father coming home, my father buying us something. Actually, me and my younger sister would always have a debate. I liked the white cream. She liked the chocolate cream. She liked it room temperature. I liked it refrigerated. So he would buy us two. One with the darker cream for my sister that was kept at room temperature, and the other one that was refrigerated. But that's right in details. So this to me is symbolic of those walks we would take to synagogue on Shabbat morning, holding my hand, reassuring, not even the words, just the experience. So going back to the womb experience, that's what life is really about. And I'm trying to describe the best, perfect, quintessential father, quintessential parent, to be able to appreciate what it is that this day is about. But I go back to what I said at the beginning. It's not one day a year. It's all year round. You don't just respect your father. You don't just respect life. You don't just respect your life one day a year. It's always. However, since modern culture has designated a day, whatever reasons, commercial reasons, other reasons, doesn't matter. Everything we have to use as an opportunity. It's an opportunity to talk about something that we should be reminded of every single day. The value of life, the value of those that brought us life, especially they've earned the honor and the love. Even if not, as I said before, your life always deserves to be loved. Your life always deserves to be honored. And that's what we do on a day like this. So happy Father's Day, my friends. Happy Father's Day to the children, to the fathers, to those of us that are fathers and children who are grandfathers. Let us the fathers live up to our responsibility of offering that unconditional love, that unconditional embrace of our children. And even when we have something to criticize, it should always be packaged in the gloves, the soft gloves of love. And those of us that are children, to remember the value of what a parent is about, besides the prices that they pay, but the very fact that they've given us life. And life is essentially the place where everything begins. The more valuable your life is, the more meaningful your life is, the more meaningful your activities will be, your contributions. And may we be blessed with the opportunity, the ability to not have those fears and insecurities, but on the contrary, the confidence to spread our wings and contribute. Play your song, play your unique song. In the Voiceless, classic poem by, slips me the author of it right now, but I mention it very often, by Oliver Wendell Holmes, The Voiceless. Alas to those that die with their song still inside them. How tragic is that? Do not let your song die. Do not let yourself die without singing your song. Let's talk on the positive side, to allow yourself to sing, to have the courage to sing. That to me is the real essence of Father's Day, the essence of what life is all about. To sing your song and complimenting all those around us, because each of us is needed and each of us complements the other in the grand cosmic symphony. May we merit to that and see world peace, harmony within diversity, with confident, secure people who do not feel they have to take somebody else's because they feel it's infringing on them, that your value comes from within, not from without. God bless you all. Happy Father's Day. This has been Simon Jacobson. MeaningfulLife.com is our website where you can find this and many other offerings. Please subscribe to them. Subscribe to our growing YouTube channel. Please share. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, your feedback. Everyone be well and be blessed. Thank you.